Thank you, Speaker. A question to the Premier. Premier, on Friday, the remaining 120 workers at CanGro in Niagara were summoned to hear the very unfortunate news that the deal to purchase and invest in the facility fell through, and they would be out of work. Premier knows a private sector consortium led by respected Niagara business leaders were bringing about $20 million to the table to keep the plant open, and we're looking for provincial support. Premier, why did the province of Ontario walk away from the table and allow CanGro to close?
Premier.
Speaker, I'll speak to the first question. I know my colleague would want to speak to the supplementary. Let me tell you that we worked as hard as we possibly could, Speaker, to pull out all the stops, to find a way to bring parties to the table and ensure that the parties might be willing in terms of ensuring some kind of succession plan for this business. We know this is really tough on the families. We have a number of programs in place, over like $1.5, close to $2 billion now by way of special programs, including our Next Generation of Jobs Fund. And it was, I know that the Minister could speak to the details of this, Speaker, but my advice and to my colleagues was to do everything we possibly could to see if we might land some kind of a succession plan for this particular enterprise. Unfortunately, it was not there. We could not make it happen. And it is with great regret that the ensuing result has been made apparent, Speaker, but we will work as hard as we can with those workers in that community and throughout Ontario to find new jobs.
Well, I say to the Premier that municipal leaders, business leaders, tender fruit growers would have a completely different view, indeed, about the lack of activity in the province of Ontario to try to save this plant. The Premier also knows that this impacts on some 150 growers representing 2,600 acres of pear and peach land in the peninsula. They're now being pulled out of the ground. Premier, when it comes to the Greenbelt, you have become an absentee landlord. You find a way to give Magna Corporation some $50 million, and they're paying their CEO some $40 million per year. Last week, you gave a foreign-owned pharmaceutical plant some $14 million, despite their $4 billion in international sales. Premier, I ask you, why do you give big grants to foreign-owned multinationals, but walk away from tender fruit growers and workers in Niagara?
Premier.
Yeah. Speaker, to the Minister of Economic Development and Trade.
Thank you, Speaker, and I'm very happy to address this. And I want to say, first off, that the very premise of his supplementary question simply is not based in fact. I have to say that we have had ongoing discussions on a personal level, both my ministry as well as the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs with Lord Mayor Burrows. There are members who are leaders from the Niagara region who are in the House today who will attest to the work that my ministry, that we have done on a personal level on this particular issue. We have worked very hard to try to keep CanGro in operation in the Niagara region as the last remaining canning opportunity here in Ontario. When we're at the table, making the offers that we have made, we needed to have the company at the table with us. Unfortunately, CanGro was not in a position to want to work with the numbers of people that we brought to the table to try to do a deal. That's a very unfortunate outcome. We will work very diligently, both with the Economic Division, the Commission of the Niagara region, as we have in the past, and the leadership is here today that will prove that that has in fact been the case and will continue to be the case to find good jobs.
Thank you. New question, Leader of Third Party.